Hello, crafty friends. I'm Lynn from Studio Kato, and I'm so glad you're joining me again today. Today, I'm back with another card for reverse confetti, and I'm sharing one of my favorite ways to stretch your supplies, and that's to create your own stencils with your dies. Now, I'm starting out with my stencil. I die cut the 3 confetti cuts by Reverse Confetti out of some glossy patterned paper. I really like glossy paper for this because it die cuts really easily and it's perfect for ink blending because the ink just glides right off. Now, to make these stencils easy to line up, I always first cut my paper to size. So it's an A2 sized piece of paper, then I die cut from it, and then I can just line it up over an A2 sized panel. I did put some temporary adhesive, just some tape roller, on the back of those stripes so they would adhere nicely to my paper and they wouldn't shift around while I ink blended. And I also put some painter's tape around the edges of my stencil to hold it down nicely. Now, the cardstock I'm actually working on is adhered down as well. I just put some painter's tape folded in half on the back of it so it will stay in place. I'm going for a non-traditional Christmas card today, and I wanted to make a galaxy Christmas tree. So I blended on some of my lightest colors first, that Aqua and the green. I will list all the names of the inks I used in the description below. Then I filled everything else in with a mid-tone blue. Then I can go in with my darkest blue and then deepen all of that up with purple. I really like to add purple to a deep blue. It gives a really nice tint. I really like that color. And to make it a galaxy, of course, you need some stars. So I'm just splattering on some silver paint. This is by Finetech. I really love these watercolors. They have really great coverage. That's the word I was looking for. They have really great coverage. And that's not super important when you're doing splatter, but if you're going to use it for anything other than splatter, it is. So I really highly recommend these paints. They are an investment, but they are really, really gorgeous. Now, to add a star to the top of my Christmas tree, I need the help of this little bear. This is from the Bear Up There stamp set, also by Reverse Confetti, and I stamped that in Versafine Onyx black ink onto watercolor cardstock. This is not the watercolor cardstock I usually use. I thought it was. I will list the one I usually use because that's the one I recommend. This one was giving me a little bit of trouble with my colors, but I made it work. It's a scrap piece of cardstock I found in my scrap folder and I thought it was the right one. It wasn't. It's very textured, so it was a little harder to stamp on. It worked because I used my Misty, and I don't know what it does to the colors, but they came out a lot more muted than I expected, so I had to work a little bit harder for it. And I really wanted to mention that because the type of paper you use for your watercolors is super important. Your paints will act differently on pretty much every paper. They won't act the same exact way on any piece of paper. So if you're having trouble with watercolors, I recommend you just try out a couple of different papers to see if that might help you. Now, I did work in layers because I always do when watercoloring, but this final layer is the most important one. It's the glaze. It's a layer of super watered down paint that will change the tone of your colors. I didn't think my bear was a warm enough brown, so I added a really warm brown on top of it in a glaze, and that will help out immensely. Now I trimmed down my panel with the tree on it, and then I can stamp on my sentiment. This stamp is from the Sparkle and Shine Sentiments from Reverse Confetti as well, and I'm stamping it in Versamark ink onto my tree, and then I can emboss it with Wow Silver Metallic regular embossing powder. To add some dimension to my card, I am adding 4 panels of thick white cardstock to the back of it, and I'm just gluing those together with the Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. I can adhere that to the back of my panel, and then adhere all of that on top of my top folding white card base, just making sure I center that. And then with some foam tape to prop it up nicely, I am adding the bear so that the stars are on the top of the tree. And I am adding some Wink of Stella to the stars as well to add some glitter and shine to them. Now, be careful when you're adding Wink of Stella to any watercoloring because it will reactivate the paints. So I'm making sure to go from the lightest area of my stars to the darkest and wiping my brush pen off in between each star so I don't transfer the darkest color to the lightest areas. To add some sparkle and shine, I am adding some embellishments. The largest ones are actually star-shaped or snowflake-shaped, and they're from Crafty Meraki. They are gorgeous, they're holographic, and I'm also adding some tiny holographic gems that I found on Amazon. These are actually for nail art, but I really like the teeny tiny size of them to add just a subtle hint of sparkle, so I love these for my card making. For an envelope, I used some pattern paper. This is a Galaxy pattern paper that I just had lying around. If you don't have a Galaxy pattern paper, you can absolutely just do the ink blending that I did on the tree to create a galaxy, or maybe just stamp the bear you used on the back of the envelope. That would be fun too. I have a million ways to decorate your envelopes. If you watch any of my videos, I do it all the time, but I do like the ease of using pattern paper as well. And that's it. I really like this non-traditional Christmas card. It's so shimmery and sparkly. I love it. And I love how cute that bear is on top of that Christmas tree. I make so many Christmas cards every year, and I love the traditional look of them, but sometimes I get bored of it, so I'm always happy when I can find a non-traditional design to work with. I hope you like it too. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. Of course, you can also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.